I will call the March 13th, 2025 meeting to order at 6:01. Planning board meeting. Of the United States of America.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was sneaky.
All right, roll call. Start again. Christine Maynard.
Roxanne Tuskegee.
John Quinn.
Kate Bazar.
So the February 13th, 2025 meeting minutes. I don't know if anybody's looked at them or not.
Wow.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ron, you seconded, right?
I did, yes.
He did.
So the family compound update, so the warrant article, or not warrant.
No, we talked about it.
Okay.
We want to talk about it. Well, because these three,
Yeah,
the three are updates that Robin got us.
Perfect.
so the three family compounds that we have in here, one is a potential. We'll have some updates. I know Charlie signed.
Charlie needs to fill out the affidavit.
Okay.
The deed is in his name. I don't see anything else that's.
Right now, we only have the one structure, we only have the one structure on there, so.
And he wanted to know next steps, so that's what we are here.
We got this thing here that's all around this Middleton building site where they want to go off.
Oh, I think we have,
No, those are duplicates there.
yeah, we have all of that, Charlie, right here.
You have it all?
You got to share with the rest of the public, though.
Yes, we have it. You're good. Yeah. So, right, so I think we're just looking now from me, Charlie, is, going forward is this affidavit of land use, which I think is this page
Top
here.
First page,
Yeah, the top page. You know, barring anything else, I think that's what he needs to collect, Robin.
Because everything else for Bill.
As far as I can see, everything's in line, and he just needs to know what happens next. I guess the building permit, he just got the copy of.
Yes, because he
Might
has
as
the,
well the affidavit.
I'd like to get the affidavit, to get that, because you have the septic, so I think you're good there. So, yeah, so if you just fill out this affidavit, get that back to Robin, then you can get the building permit.
all right.
Stop banging his nails.
Yeah. Come here, none of this.
Good.
Are we going to approve it conditionally, or?
Yeah,
You
so,
might-
yeah, so we can make a motion, so
So,
we'll make the motion to move forward with the family compound with the condition that Charlie fills out the affidavit for land use.
I'm gonna fill it out right now.
Okay, perfect.
And once we get that, so we've got the septic, that we go ahead and let Carl issue him a building permit.
does it matter that it's not, this isn't a state approved one, correct? This was just a drawing that you did, this isn't a state approved septic?
No, that's not state approved, and the reason it's not, because I was told I had to get all the paperwork done before the meeting coming up,
April,
which, right.
yeah.
But I made some calls and I couldn't get anybody else here to do it. So that's a proposal of what it's going to be, to make sure everybody knows that, you know, it's not just gonna get hit up the hole or something. But it's all a legal system. that
Right,
can-
so-
Was that also with the anticipation that we were thinking?
Right, so to add to the condition, sorry, Robin. So with the condition that we get the state approved septic, we will go ahead and have Carl issue the building permit.
Yeah, I just needed something to present to you
Yeah.
people so that you knew that
Your
the
intention.
town was going to vote to get rid of it or keep it, and I was told to have everything done before that vote.
Yes.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
Checking that mark off, okay, yeah.
And
So,
then the other structure that you're gonna put on will need to be in your name too.
if you're going to do a third,
So no, so you have the one house now, and now you're going for the second house. Both of those houses will have to be in your, so if you took over the mortgage on it, I
The
guess.
land is in his name with the building permit and everything.
And everything,
You own the house.
yes, all of it.
you own it all,
I
Charlie.
know, and you know what the other side of the coin is? It's a 21 acre lot.
Yeah.
So I can subdivide it off, and there'll be no issues.
Right, which is good.
Well,
You're-
provided that you take both of those structures and they're on.
No, he is, he's got it far enough, he's got
He
it
does
far
have it.
enough,
Okay.
yeah.
There's 21 acres, one house is dead center,
Okay.
the other's only a quarter of the way off the road.
So he'll have plenty.
Are there any wetlands on the property? Okay, because they need to be usable acres, that's the trick of the
When
wetland.
you go to subdivide.
And yeah,
Yeah, the only low spot is right by the road, and that's flat. There's a brook that runs across the edge of it, but there's no wetland, and it's all up there.
Right.
No, we're just checking,
We're just making sure that.
keeping you good.
You
Okay.
notice the last name, it doesn't start with an L.
We're not discussing that, Charlie.
I think my map is map 7.
It says map 7 lot 3-38.
What's that?
That's what Robin put on here, so that's what I'm
I
doing.
knew it was on here somewhere, but I just couldn't come
Well,
up.
it's on the front of our agenda, so.
Cool.
do you want to add anything else to that?
Nope, I think so. The motion is out there with the
Okay.
condition to add
Does anybody want a second?
I will second that.
All those in favor?
All right.
Okay.
Well, you're a quorum, and I'm,
She's an officer. We have a forum. Okay, we can talk about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna
We'll
bring
talk
that
about
up.
that as we get through this stuff.
Then we run for the other alternate.
So we just need to look at this other paperwork. Charlie.
the alternate.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, it's Charlie's doing on his paperwork.
I'm surprised there weren't more complaints, but
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, I think according to Robin, this is the update they
So,
provided.
yeah, so right now he's keeping it, Melanson's keeping it at 2.
Okay, with the planning, he did not complete the bottom part.
So, yes, so he needs to do that.
Yep.
Day 13.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. All day.
tomorrow's Pi Day.
It is, but then, you know, my work, they celebrated it on Tuesday. It threw me all off. I digress.
And I might have told you that he's not gonna go ahead with the third house or anything.
Full moon,
Oh, good.
blood moon.
But we still need to have this filled out.
That's what's important to me.
Yeah, all that happens tonight.
So,
You digress.
It's
And
important.
then Chris noticed something today.
well, I just have one question. The
Tax card?
tax card that you have, that here, my camera's right here. The tax card that you have is for the 153 house?
For Lenny, what are you talking about, Lenny?
Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Lenny. But this is, like, it's, the compound is on
No, this is.
Pheasant Lane.
113 Pheasant Lane.
13.
It looks the same as the
Oh.
one that's on 153.
They build the same.
He must build the same houses everywhere.
Okay, because this is
Is that
for
true, Joe?
153.
Oh, you're looking at the building permit. The building permit is not, I didn't think he had a building permit for the second house.
That's his living.
Mailing.
Right, his tax card is for 113 Pheasant Drive.
Oh,
The
okay.
HR didn't know he had a second house either, because the building permit didn't trigger an inspection. So Lenny actually brought me in a copy of the building permit. I talked to Carl about it, and it is valid, it just fell through the cracks.
Okay.
So Avatar now is flagged property development inspector.
And we are going to get this paperwork, request money to get that paperwork filled up, right?
I just have to step out to my car.
Okay.
And then I'll
Continue on. I need to do,
This affidavit, it's got stuff printed on the back, that makes difference.
no, it's fine, because she'll,
You can make copies, then
Yeah,
legal, you know.
that's fine.
and attach it.
She can attach, that's fine.
Robin's good like that.
Person that might be living here, I don't know, like 8 different people in the family that
Is it gonna be a lottery? You might have
it
to
might
do.
be whoever comes first that needs it.
Lottery.
Sally's pregnant, and my father-in-law, he's on oxygen, and my father's DD3, and my stepmother is D1, and we need it. She can live up to that.
Well, that could work too. All right, so,
So I'll go with them. Oh, wait a minute, people who work for
I
that.
got no idea who might be.
because he hasn't built it yet.
Okay, okay, all right, so we'll follow up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be a follow-up. So I think we're good with you, Charlie,
all right.
but no permit, so you know, no permit will be issued until we get an approved septic design.
Understood.
Okay, all right, this is,
Yeah, that one was in, so you knew that
You were thinking
kind
about
of rush, basically.
yeah,
If I just showed up and said, I got someone working on it, it'd be like, yeah, right.
So the affidavit is on the side.
yeah, this affidavit is, it will need to have an engineer.
it. Didn't miss anything.
It's not sure on the lottery who's gonna live there. So I think we're good with you, Charlie. If you want to stay, you can. If not,
Please spell affidavit.
Do I, permit pay
AFFEID.
for that?
no,
Permit?
you can't get the permit until we have an approved septic design.
That might be the middle of the summer.
Yeah, so you can't get a building permit until you have a septic, a state approved septic.
But you will get one as soon as we get an approved septic design, you will get a building permit.
All right, so I'm good.
Here,
I want to get somebody up there and do their thing, and then whenever they get done, present it to him.
Yes. What do you mean by do their thing?
Bill-
The septic design, okay, yes.
Come up with a backhoe or whatever, dig a hole, and you get soil samples, and
Yes.
say, yes, we're good, and,
Yes.
all right,
All right, thanks, Charlie.
all right, I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay,
good.
enjoy.
So we're looking at the lines, right?
Enjoy tomorrow.
Lines.
Happy Sunday, so
So we discussed the Melanson, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Except the outstanding is he needs to fill out.
Need to have him fill that in. Other than that, I think he's all set.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Christine was a couple of things on lottery
Yeah.
grounds.
so for the Gunnistons, and for the, according to the ordinance, the property and all of the houses have to be in one owner's name.
Right?
So when looking, it's not that way. It's I think it's like the land in one house is,
Well, there's two issues. One is that the new manufactured home is in the Laurie and her husband's name and the mother. So I don't know if that's okay or not. The land is in Laurie and Doug.
Yeah.
Doug. But the second home is in three of their names.
I don't think that's a big deal, but I don't know.
I mean, I think if the rule says that everything's gotta be owned
Yes.
by one owner,
Yes.
then we need to keep it that
Right, so
way.
whether they add the mother to the other, or they take her off, they gotta do.
Or if they wanna do like a
20 people.
trust or whatever,
Whatever,
probably
yeah.
go.
But yes, it all has to be, everything needs to be unison.
I'll
Because
tell
we
them.
don't want to do this one and then have.
Create a precedent.
Yes, yeah, it's,
Thank you.
these are the rules, we're gonna stick with them, we're gonna follow the ordinance for everything.
And then the other problem is, and I didn't see this, and Christine did, is that they're signing an owner on the, underneath, saying that they're not paying rent.
Well, that's fine, as long as they score that
Well,
way.
But no, I'd say, no, so then that's when I'd say, if they're the owner, then they should be listed in the deed.
Right.
Yeah,
So Doug and Laurie are owners, but Justice and change.
Right, I know,
Yeah,
right.
there's
So we
all-
need, so there's clarification, so it's like, I think that's, I don't know, I guess for the son, say, if they can't be listed as owners, they're not on the deed in that, so,
It would see clarity.
yeah.
That's a good point.
So we're not, so we're holding off any approval on this until we get
Okay.
updated paperwork.
Right.
And I would say they would have to update like all of the, have everything under
Right, then
property
they,
owners correctly and.
right,
It all must be uniform all the way down the line.
yes, that would be the deed, the property and cards, yes.
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
We're gonna do one, this, and then somebody's gonna come and say, well, you left that, and you're like, nope, we are going to stick with.
And we follow the regulations.
Create
Right,
it now
because it's- yes.
correctly. It'll save problems down the line. It's a big enough can of worms as it is.
It is, it is.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, the family compound going forward, so as of now, it did not pass to eliminate it, so we still have it. So I guess moving forward, do we need to
So what I would,
upgrade?
yeah, so what I would recommend, and you guys can say, like, I think we would need to take a more thorough look at it.
Yeah.
And say, okay, are we going to add, and update it to be more, robust, I guess? Or, you know, need basically better definitions.
What's the
better-
problem with the family compound?
A few things.
Well, there's no problem with
Yeah.
it, other than the fact that, you know, I guess the piece that I kind of had concerns with is you're gonna have 3 houses on there, and I have no problem with that. But I will, you know, you're gonna tell me that everybody that's living in those houses aren't paying you anything. You know what I mean?
Well, we know it's all under the table.
Right, so I'm just saying, you know, so,
We know that, I think that the problem is it just sets up a situation where it's gonna be abused.
yes,
Yeah.
right, and that's why I think we need to take a close look at it and maybe put some
And then
stronger stipulations.
how to keep it blood relatives without,
Yes.
is
Yes.
kind of a
Because that's-
really high bar.
That is truly what the heart of the homestead is supposed to be. That's
about families.
Family compound is supposed to be, yes.
Well, and the other thing too is, you know, if it can be 3 houses on 5 acres, and like I brought up to somebody who was like, what's the big deal? And it's like, not that it's a big deal, but it becomes an issue if, like I had said to one person, you know, you have a house in that 5 acres and you put a house on there, and then, you know, your son and his wife wants to put a house on there, and you go ahead and you do it, and your daughter and son-in-law want to put a house, okay, now you've got 3 houses, well, if you pass away, there's an empty house that the kids can't rent out, can't do anything, a relative has to live there rent-free, or the structure stays empty, and then they're stuck paying for
Taxes.
the assessment taxes on all of it. You know, I guess you could, if you wanted to, knock it down, but there's a cost to that as well. The other thing is, you know, you pass away, and then you've got your 2 kids, one wants to stay, the other one doesn't want to stay, and then they're like, well, let's subdivide. So now they're coming to the zoning board, and then you can't subdivide, so now there's the issue of the back and forth of that. And I kind of look at it as you're taking something that you want it to be a blessing for your family, and it's turning into a curse. And then the other thing is we have that ADU ordinance that kind of takes care of your family all in one, but then later on down the road, you can rent it out if you wanted to. Or you can, you know, do something different with it. It's not so rigid to where it's like, you have to do this and this alone, and that's it, and not have to worry about all the
I
things.
mean, it states in the book, prior to you going forward with a family, you know, it talks about you need to think about this pretty strongly, because kind of like once you go, you can't kind of come back.
It's almost impossible for the town to
But I mean,
enforce.
unlike Charlie's situation where he's on 21 acres, and if he does it, plots it out right, he'll be fine when he goes to if he needs to subdivide. So that's there's not an issue like that if you have plenty of land. The issue becomes in fact like when you're on less than 5 acres or less than 10 acres, less than, say, 15, and they're not placed properly, and you go to subdivide, if you want to, well, then you have to, then, depending on what it is, you might have to ask for the variance, and depending on how close, whatever, you might not feel comfortable giving the variance. But I mean, I do know, I think we've read it a number of times to say, that whole paragraph of like, be careful for choosing this, because it could be hard to undo going down the road.
Somebody's gonna
So
cry.
it's kind of like, you kind of gotta look into the future and say, is this truly gonna be beneficial for us? And maybe someone who's.
For the town? No, for you, probably not.
Right,
Yeah.
so.
In,
that's why I think-
for 10 years, short term, but long term, it's a big problem.
Right,
Yeah.
so that's why I think we need to revisit it.
Yep,
And
I agree.
get some stronger, stronger.
And I think it would be kind of nice to, because, Robin made up the affidavit,
Yeah.
if we, part of it is, before moving forward, you have to come to the planning board with your plans, and an affidavit must be signed. Having all of that, like, these are the guidelines, before you even break ground, you must do X, Y, and Z. And then that way it's known about, so then that way, Dan's learned about the driveway permits, to
One driveway?
Yeah.
one drive, and that's, the one driveway, one address.
And I would say, so, and we can talk about this as we decided that, we need to put some more, I think, guidelines around and stronger requirements around the family compound. Like say, and I think this is great, this affidavit, but I'd be like, okay, poor Robin, because this is, I'm gonna throw this out there, is like, this needs to be filled out anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you could create a spreadsheet.
But I guess, I guess what I struggle with, is how do you enforce, what do you,
It's hard, it's really hard.
but I think we need to try and set some precedent to say, we are gonna make you do all of this stuff, because if you wanna really have this, then you're gonna need to do A through Z to get that.
I agree.
And then,
We have-
enforcing it is
What's the process for that? I mean, it's gonna have to be another, article, vote on it next year.
We'll have to revise it, put it back to the,
So it's
Yeah.
either revise it or try to do away with it again?
potentially.
yeah.
Maybe people have
It
to
all depends on,
understand it
it
better.
all depends on the spirit of the.
The town, yeah.
Right.
It's all in the mood, and that was like reading a book, that ballot, right?
I believe, this has been brought up before, this was an easy explanation of the articles, not the gobbledygook legalese that they had. It wasn't black and red of this is what, this is like, this does fences, this does family compounds. It gives an explanation. It doesn't say which one you should vote for.
Yeah.
This was absent from the website, this was absent from the polls. We got this as official record. I didn't see it anywhere.
I looked for it.
I had to look, I carried it in the car.
And I know John
Yeah, John submitted it.
submitted it.
So that if we're gonna do all the work to revise it, we gotta follow through. The selectmen apparently wanted us to present what the articles meant. I don't know where that, I never got that request, I don't
I
know.
didn't give it as a request, because I was the fortunate one that got to answer the question.
Well, I'm just saying, that's fine, but we should have presented it
Right.
on record, let people know, and we should make it easy.
I agree.
If we want them to say yes,
Yeah.
now if they wanna say no, that's fine.
Right.
They may have legitimate reasons.
But at least they get that,
Right.
they get that informed.
Especially with 11 warrant articles
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah,
That's all.
And another thing is, we gotta, we gotta hold a public hearing, so people have legitimate questions and
well,
concerns.
we did hold the public.
I know we did, I know.
But I think for, what I found frustrating is that us as a board, we did our due diligence by having all the meetings throughout the year. We openly discussed everything. They were all put on video, online. Meeting minutes were all posted. And we even made the little cheat sheet of like the simple facts of what it was about. And I'm disappointed because people have, they just want the short version
Well, because,
of things, and that wasn't posted, and I feel like that was important.
no, we did follow the law, but the intent, we need to go a little further. People are busy, they got a lot of demands on their time, we need to make it easy. When we walked through there was a town report, and then there was that packet of just repeated warrant articles that don't make any sense. And we're the ones that put it together, it made no
Well, and
sense.
John submitted that an ample amount of time to where.
Right, so if something fell through,
It could've gone
it's our
through.
fault for not seeing it through, okay? So going forward, I mean, then people,
Lesson learned.
yeah, well,
What do you mean it was our fault for not seeing it
No,
through?
no, I don't think it's our fault. We submitted it to
well,
the
I,
selectmen and to whoever
Well, I didn't
posts
see-
it on the website.
I know, but I didn't look, just check, I didn't verify.
This piece is what you
But that was
said.
submitted to,
Right, but I get, and I'll say to some extent, I'll say, you know, like, I think we should have worked with, like, the DOS to say, okay, Monday, you know, not the Monday night before, but like
Yeah.
prior Monday, saying, we're gonna have the planning board come in and present what the amendments are, and go through them and whatnot.
Give our a chance to sell it, and I know that
Right.
they can look at the meeting minutes, they can look at the video. We know people don't have the time to do that always.
And they just choose not to, that's fine.
Well, that's fine, that's,
Right, right.
educate the voters and let them make a good decision.
Lesson, like you said, lesson learned. Yeah, good, you're right, John, I agree.
And I appreciate John doing that.
Yeah,
Did a great job of that. But that's what I was stunned when it wasn't there. So that's why I blame myself for not checking and verifying.
I didn't look because I remembered, I really.
Right.
Not put it on Facebook. That's the sad part, that's what people see, is Facebook,
Well-
but that's not really. the
How
Facebook.
about a planning board Facebook page?
oh,
No,
God,
no, no.
no.
You- no.
No.
I mean, I have no problem
I don't have
saying there's a meeting coming up, you know, look at the website, I think that might be the best.
The town website is the point of reference.
It's a
My,
right.
my opinion, the social media in the town,
You're not.
do not go, unless it's an official town website now.
But how do you get people to see it? That's-
Well, that's,
Well, no,
that's on them and, you know what I mean, but I'm like, I do not want to engage in official town business on a non-town website.
Good point.
Well, it's also,
That's a fair
That's just bad, because you get sucked into that suck hole. You know, you're like, oh, I'm trying to be nice and answer a question, then all of a sudden things went, maybe
Spiral.
down to a rabbit hole, and then you're like, oh, I was just trying to be, yeah. you're
Trying to be
trying
nice, you get
and see what
screwed.
happens.
and I agree with Roxanne, you need the official sites. But
Well,
there's at least 40 social media sites. We're
Well,
in-
I mean,
and that right now.
That could have been added to
You could.
the official Middleton website.
Yeah, put it on the
Facebook
official
page.
sites. And if anyone has any questions, say, look, see the website,
well,
here's our number, ask questions. I'm not gonna post it on all the social media sites.
no, it was my brilliant idea about a Facebook page, because I have the same problem with the Conservation Commission. I'd like to get the things out there, and I don't know, I'm not
Well,
media
there's no
savvy.
one,
I don't know how to
there's no
go
one
about it.
source of information anymore. Like, you might get it to Facebook, you might get Instagram, she might do Reddit. I might wanna look at the wall at the town hall.
Right.
There's no one information source, there's no TV, no newspaper that everyone reads anymore. That is a task.
Do you think
What's your
official-
Do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I do.
What's that?
Funnel everything to the official town website. And if we, and that, so if I get a question on Facebook, I say, have you seen the website? Because that's where all the official correspondence is. And if you can't get an answer,
I tried.
Do you find it easy to navigate?
Go to town website, there's a cheat sheet.
That's fine.
There's a cheat sheet on there, go on the website, and I have.
I mean, maybe you can send them the link. Here's the link to the website, planning book
And then I
page.
would go look
Where
at
it
it.
would have to give them the page where it would.
Yeah, you can just copy the link.
And then somebody told me,
Good idea.
oh, it's
Or tell them
copied
stop the town
on
hall.
the tax collector's window.
And nobody
And
asks
then when
me
I
the
went
questions
down, it was
before, they
just
complain
that
about it
packet.
afterwards, though.
Well, there's that too, but you still can refer them.
Yeah.
It's done, it's over, we can't,
Right, but you know,
Get into a
going
time
forward,
machine.
this, you know, we'll have.
Because if the website's too much trouble, there is a highly paid, highly professional person at the town hall.
Right. No, the website is available.
Yeah, it's an asset we have, and it doesn't,
We
yeah.
will be working on that.
Not the only solution, but it's the official
But again,
website.
my opinion and my feeling is as long as I no to any other social media that is not.
I respect your experience, I do, I have to, yeah.
I mean, because I personally don't do social media.
No, I
So, and
really
I don't
don't.
want to have to be responsible for looking at something that's not town.
Good point. It's a fair point, and I appreciate
Well, as
that.
far as I know, everything's supposed to be posted here, there, and on the website,
Right.
but that doesn't always happen.
And, yes, and it needs to, so we need to.
Again, we need to verify, and people are busy, it's a busy season. for
I'm
election.
sorry. I thought it was just the website or here.
No, it has to be
It's
both.
all three?
Yeah, well, it's two, and so we usually do three. We do
Oh.
here, the town municipal building, municipal, it's not open all the time, we're
Right.
out on here,
This is fine.
and then the website.
Two
So we
two
usually,
places that are available 24 hours of it. So
Right.
that's the website and that.
Okay,
that's
thank you.
what we
Yeah.
try for. So, yeah.
Here we are.
Right, we
Okay.
beat that to death.
Well,
So I guess we'll just continue to work on the family compound moving forward
Yeah.
through the year.
Yeah,
Changes to zoning ordinances for next year. So these are, I guess, the things that, the only other thing that did not pass other than this was the fence.
Yep.
and that was at Sunrise Lake Village District, right?
So I think people didn't quite understand that, my husband included, which goes to show you how much he really listens to me when I talk about certain things. And he quite bragged that, he's like, I said no, and I was like, you are dumb. It's just like, come on.
hey, he is exercising his rights.
Did you read it? Well, I read it, but I really understand it, so no.
Yeah,
Well, I think people thought that we're decreasing the size, not increasing the size. That is what a little clarity would help.
well, and then he informed me that he wanted to be able to put a 10-foot fence up if he really wanted to, and I was like, well, that's not how life works.
So I, yes,
Like, Get
so,
some bushes or hedges or something, get a tree.
right, so I think we need to put the, well, obviously, I think we need to put the family compound back on there.
Yeah.
The fence, because those are the two that got turned down.
We can review them
How
and see if
about
it's worth
the height one?
That was
That
what
was
it
the one that
was.
failed.
No, the height for the, no, that, everything passed
Building, yep.
except for
Yep.
the
Those,
building.
oh, only two, did you
Yeah.
ask?
Yeah.
Only two, Kate. Not bad.
The Manson family compounds and the, that's, I can't help it, that's what I
No,
think of.
it's funny you say that.
I think the correct.
Yeah.
I think it's the people on the other side of the town,
Right.
on the
He
compound.
says that, that's it.
Yeah, that's right, because he lives in the good area.
Okay, let's move along here. I am outnumbered, quarter to one.
She's surrounded by the lady people.
I'm drowning.
Well, if you're in our lake, just stand right, put your feet down because it's up.
Yeah, you will never find my feet in Sunrise Lake.
Can we invite you to the village district meeting? We might need your expertise.
No, I'm not coming to that on May 17th.
You're all welcome.
You'd be very impressed.
Oh, my lord, me
It's only
too.
gonna last about a half hour to hear anyway. So.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, your budget's gotta be pretty down now.
it's the same, it's low.
Yeah, because you paid the damn off.
As low as we're dropping the lake too.
Right.
Is the dam leaking?
Yeah, the water's trickling off. We are monitoring the dam
So
and the
We're
beavers.
leaking it.
Yeah, the beavers.
I think one of the ones that we maybe want to readdress or relook at, because Janet keeps telling me that it's going to be an issue, is the ADU.
What?
So she keeps telling me that according to the state, that legally somebody can put two detached ADUs and then an attached ADU on, but the state can allow,
Oh, that's good.
the state can say like, you can have this much, but the towns can make it stricter.
More restricted, right?
So we can't make it more lenient than the state, but we can make it more restrictive than the state, correct?
I
Correct.
think so. So maybe that's just a guideline. We can find that out.
We can, and we can certainly review that one.
But there are a couple of laws going through that are House bills going through right now that are going to eliminate our ability to
Yeah.
regulate any housing in this town.
Yeah,
So,
she was saying that as
Yeah.
well, so I guess maybe we need to start
We need
looking.
to just be paying attention to that. It's
I find it difficult to track bills
do
online.
too.
They disappear when they go into committee, and I can never find them again.
Is there a way?
do
So like I
change.
know with like,
John might know a way to.
I'm sure he does.
like I know with like DES.
Where is
there's
John
certain
right
things that
now?
you can sign,
He's never getting away.
that you can sign up for, so then like if things happen or change, you get the alerts. I wonder if there's like an alert that we can
There
sign
might be.
up for.
There might be.
We could always ask one of our state reps, maybe they could point us in the right direction.
It's really helpful. The other thing with the ADU is, so I was reading through it, and it was, so when you read like the first part of it, it looks like you can have just one ADU, but then as you read the full thing, which is what you should do, it appears that you can do an attached and a detached. So I'm wondering if there is a better way that to word it so it's understood that you can potentially do an attached and detached. So, and I think that was one of the things that like I was trying to explain to people when it all came up about, getting rid of the family compound, is that, well, if you can do 3 houses as a family compound on, the 5 acres, well, you can do like an attached and a detached ADU, which would kind of accomplish and equate to the same thing, but it wouldn't be so restrictive. That the family compound has, and then you could potentially have it as a rental or whatever you need or want.
You can rent the ADU, but you can't rent the family compound
Yeah.
legally.
Right,
I think people are looking at family compounds as a money-making enterprise.
right.
Yeah.
See, that's why I said, this is why I want to.
You want all the,
It's gonna be
the
like,
paper
oh,
trail.
When this kid goes to, you can't do this, but when this person goes to fill out and say, oh, I paid $1,200 rent. No, you don't pay any rent.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, we have an affidavit here that says
You're paying no
you're
rent.
paying nothing. Well, how are we going to be involved in that process? But I mean, again, making sure all of the I's and all of the T's across to say,
Robin brought up another point or question about, so on Avatar and the kiosk, it's going to be listed as a family compound.
Yeah.
So is there a way, because now that property changes to like a family compound, can we have them, is it legal to say to them, now you need to change your deed and have it in your deed that you have a family compound?
I don't know, that would be just, I think I moved up to me. All right, and so that can be,
I know in that affidavit, we're suggesting it, but they're,
right. I mean, so,
whether we can require it.
And the only reason why I say this as well is because then if they go to, if like Lenny goes to sell that property or Lori or anybody else who has it, you don't have 3 people right now, but if any of these 3 people go to sell that property, if it's deed, like it would be known, like you're buying a family compound and like just doing that due diligence, and then that way we don't have the backlash of like once that person buys it and they're renting it all out.
Well, that would protect the town, that would protect the owners and the buyers, and anyone involved in that process.
I mean, we don't have to go that far necessarily, but I think it's like that proactiveness up front to say,
and I think we would be better off, I think, to maybe give an answer on that sooner versus later. So I would reach out to legal on that, but the gentleman that,
Matt,
yes, had,
German, it's still method, is the main part of it.
yes.
Who does with our land, is it method with the land use stuff? Or, because we don't have money anymore, right?
No, you're right, it's all looking at.
Okay.
So what other changing to zoning ordinances? I would,
So John and I, as part of the Stratford Regional Planning, have applied for a grant, or having Stratford Regional Planning apply for a PREPA grant, and the PREPA grant is the Piscataqua Regional Estuaries Program, and they offer grants to towns in the watershed area. So we're deficient in 3 areas. 4 areas actually, but then we're not going to, one is wetland setbacks, as we, in that little case of over off of Alwyn, what drive is it over there,
Oh,
Avon?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, remember they had a 100-foot thing and they were right on the water and there was no wetlands buffer. Could have applied for shoreland. Look, they're going to take a look at our shoreland, and that's if our shoreland regulations, and awful recommendations for that. fertilizers in the watershed area, but they're not gonna look at that because that just makes people angry. And then stormwater management, which is a big push for me, considering we have these large lots around the lake that are changing hands. And it would be nice when they go to put roads and driveways in that we can protect the water with some stormwater drainage and things that we don't have currently in our regulations. But Stratford Regional is doing the work, preparing the grant, and whether we get it or not, it's due March 31st. Whether we get it or not, I don't know. So that's those are potential for next year.
So meaning this 2025?
Yeah,
So you're talking.
26, yeah.
Oh, well.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
2026, but yeah. So you're talking the shoreland?
Well, no, we'll not be touching that. They'll be offering recommendations.
Right. Oh, so, and this is what they're gonna do, doc recommendations?
They're gonna take a look at it and see,
Okay.
yeah.
So this could potentially be on here is like.
And this is-
Setbacks, the wetland setbacks?
Wetlands buffer zone, they call it, yeah.
Wetland buffer, and then you have the one of the stormwater.
Stormwater management, that would be the
What was
last
the
one.
third one?
The
What was
fourth,
the shoreline? Okay.
yeah, there was three, and the fourth would have been fertilizer, but that's a
Right,
no-go,
no,
because
that's-
nobody, that just creates hate and
So this
discontent.
is what we're going to wait.
Stop them from opening up the sewage
The grant to see if,
for the bicycles.
are there any others that?
So is there anything that, with the housing issues that are going on in the state and then building and things that are going on here in town, I wonder if we're missing any ordinances that potentially we need to be proactive and look at before somebody comes, like manufactured home park.
Oh, well, that's a good point, because
It's like-
if that guy came to put the manufactured home on that lot,
Yeah.
I would not know how to approach that. You couldn't deny him, but how do you regulate it? How do you,
Yeah.
I really don't know how that
So I know,
goes.
it's like I've had this conversation before in the past with, I think, John and I don't know who else.
What guides you where we have nothing?
Yeah, so it's like, do we work on trying to put something on the books now to be proactive in preventing a potential mess? Or do we just say, like, it's not an issue now, let's wait for it to be an issue? I kind of
No.
like proactive.
Well, what guides us? What guides us now?
And
Is it are there state regulations?
I
don't even know. It's been a question on my
I think
mind.
there are some state regulations, but I think they're a lot looser than what we, as a small town, and what we as a community really want. So maybe we need to look at that and then fine tune it to what we want our town to continue to be. Because I know when we had that survey, the majority of the people said, we want that small town country feel,
Yeah, it's rural residential, that's what people
rural
want. right.
residential
That's
feeling.
what we're fighting for, and
We don't want subdivision after subdivision after subdivision and.
but they could put a manufactured housing on a large lot,
It
and
would just-
with buffers, with tree buffers where it's not visible from the road,
You can
with
regulate how the
protection, right.
foundations
But how
are.
do we regulate it? That's the thing.
You
I
know.
don't understand.
Yeah, so I think, I'm wondering if we need to look at that, especially where people have approached me and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and before somebody just pulls the trigger and says,
So the question to planning would be, without any regulations in town, what guides you when they
Right,
come?
Are you required to consider that?
You have to be. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, well, that's what I'm saying, is I know, my understanding was from before, and stuff, it's like, if it's not in there, it's not allowed.
Not allowed.
Yeah.
But I'm
But
like,
it's-
I don't
that's not-
necessarily think that
It's
can
true
carry
anymore.
trash
but then,
anymore.
but
Right,
I've been told both, that if it's not there, you can't do it, but then I've been told, no, that's not the case. If it's not there, it doesn't mean you can't do it, you just have to come.
you have
I
to
think
get the variance.
the
You have to
variances.
get the- Yeah.
And so the
We do
problem.
have other alternatives.
I'm sure there is, but it would be nice to have something, I think, on the books, on papers, especially where we're seeing building throughout the state going. And you're seeing developments go up, you're seeing, you know, condo communities, and you're seeing manufactured home communities, and you're seeing all of these different things going up. Why not be proactive and put something on the book? So that versus just letting people go to the zoning board for variances, and then, you know, two people get approved, and then the third person comes along, and then they get denied, and it was like, well, you're favoring this one. And
well, no, you can go forward with that. I agree with you. I'd just like to know what happens when they come in next meeting.
yeah, I mean, then we'll just have to figure it out and deal with it, but I mean, instead of having that, like, in the back of your head worrying of who's gonna come in next month and ask for something that you're like, I don't know, kind of be, I mean, I don't think it's that far out there to start working on. I mean, I'm almost surprised that somebody hasn't seriously come forward yet requesting it.
Well, if you're concerned about it, it's better to do it now before the problem hits us and there's nothing to stop it.
I mean, there's.
What guides us if they come in before an ordinance? What guides us, or if the ordinance is denied? What if the town votes against it? What if they see manufactured park and they say no?
So I think that's.
So what guides
guides
the planning board?
Well, I would say.
We need
so-
to educate.
Well, right, in the part of the presentation, is we currently have nothing on the books. So in order to better protect the town, is to have some guidelines, to have, you know, have an ordinance on it, because otherwise, you know, you're open to more potential issues versus if you have something that's more restricted, or, you know, what I mean, there's actually something to go by, you know, versus opening up the can of worms and like, I mean, that's, what you have something in place is better than having nothing in place, I think, Kate. But now I can't.
Well, and then as you know, it
Whatever's on
depends
state
also
law.
on, if you have nothing, then it's kind of dictated according to whatever board you have in place. So it's like, you know, we've got us now, 5 years from now, it could be a different group, and they could make a completely different decision.
I'm not opposed. I don't know if you understand my question. My question is what happens when they come in next month with,
Well, right.
I would
So-
table it.
No, so I would, yeah, so I would reach out to legal and say, okay, we don't have anything on, and I mean, can we, by rights, deny it because we don't have it in the book, in the ordinance, we don't have it as an ordinance, so basically we've been under the understanding is we don't have it in there, it's not allowed. However, like you said, Kate, we don't think that that's pulling the weight it used to.
no,
So then what I'd say, okay, if that's not the case, then I need you to help us guide this to make this as you know, as not restricted, but as basically the best for the town without, you know,
so no more camping in town?
that, no,
No
no.
private campsites, as in like individual, like you have a lot and you're gonna use it as a campsite.
Well, you only mentioned RVs. We had this discussion that there's other ways to camp.
Right.
But that private campsite ordinance talks about all of those different ways of camping. So now we're thinking, well,
Well, that's why clarity is key.
this is true.
Yeah, because I went round and round with Dave, I was agreeing on that, but he said, you're not, so now you tell me I have, see, has two campers that are used for storage. And I'm like, we're not saying you can't do that.
Yeah.
That ordinance specifically called out being able to use it for storage. And I'm like, we're talking camping. We're not gonna make you, I'm not gonna show up at your house tomorrow after passes and tell you you're gonna get rid of those two campers that you use it for storage. You gotta kind of,
It's on 156,
well,
manufactured housing.
yeah, but I couldn't see what the guide, there's nothing in here that says for guidelines. It's like you're
Just definitions.
yeah, I didn't see like, you know, what the, I mean, it might be helpful to look at another town, and I'm not saying like a big city, I mean, like a town, you know, they have, because they be able to start, but, I mean, so that's.
Middleton has one, do they, is Middleton have one? Or,
So I would put, yeah, so we have that on the list. I would say maybe, you know, workforce housing, I know that's been kind of, but, And I think it might be worth it having, once, because we'll be coming out of this situation that we're in now. And I know, and I would totally, and I don't have a problem working with her, I would be bringing in Laura, because she's very.
Well,
She's very familiar with,
Yeah.
and everything, and I would ask to say, okay.
She the one that didn't like ours? Is she the one that didn't like the ordinance, this workforce
I
housing?
don't think really anybody likes our ordinance, and so we're looking to get that.
What specifically we need to change?
Yeah.
Well, and because a lot of the law around that are being updated.
So that would be my recommendation, that I would do that until after the situation.
We'll go back to
But I mean, I think this is a pretty good list to
Yeah.
start with,
It's a good start.
and I think we need to start sooner versus later.
Yeah.
Fortunately, right now, I don't,
Should we start with the hard stuff or the easy stuff?
no, what I would, no, I would start with the, well, I don't know that we need, what we need to do with the fence height, and maybe get some,
Same thing,
just
just,
information out there.
Yeah.
education.
we'll do better job next year.
But I think the family compound, that one, I think we need to take a look at that and get some strict regarding, and find out, can we legally have it, if that states will be that it's a family compound. And then, like we say, the ADU, have,
That's a quick fix.
Clarify the wording.
Yeah.
yeah, clarify, right, so, and if that, and maybe that's something we can instruct in regional planning.
And remember, some of these things we can do on our own,
Yes.
if it doesn't change the intent of the.
Yeah,
of the-
and right, and I don't think that's the idea, we're not looking to change the intent, we're just looking to, and then we won't know anything until we hear more from Kate.
Yeah, we don't know if we get that grant or not. And
Right.
then they'll do all the work and then if you guys approve, I just thought I'd give you a heads up is what John and I were
The
doing.
manufacturing home, but I mean, obviously, we need to start looking at this soon, because the year will go by, and we'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, you guys have been hit pretty hard lately this last couple
But
of
I mean,
years.
I think for you, Christine, or us, or whatever, we start with this, but also in the background, kind of looking at this manufacturing. Like, I'll Google it, see if any other town has, see if we can Google, I'll Google, see if we come up with the same information. Just for different towns, I mean, I'm just curious, like, yeah, it's Milton,
How-
it's Wakefield, does, a town, is that big, a town that's more geared towards our size.
Well, Brookfield's a good place to start. They don't have much business.
Really don't.
I
Do they
mean,
have anything, well.
I don't know.
I guess whether they have or not, it's more that they have the ordinance in place or.
They're not very kid friendly over there. Well, they did used to be.
was that another side of the ridge, not just the lake?
Yeah, that's something
I
about,
mean, did your family separate Brookfield from the town?
yes, it probably was, yes. Now
Go back.
ironically enough, now my son lives in Brookfield.
So,
He lives right over.
Was he banished?
Yeah.
over the mountain.
I know when he decided to go over the mountain on the other side of, I'm not saying Jessica, it's not Jessica.
Moved on.
So, that's, I think,
I think
we can
that's-
circle back in our next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, start with the ones I mean, we're waiting for the few, we start with the ones we just start.
Yeah.
Then, and number 8 is take a look at the ordinance and see what, everybody wants a town store. See what the,
Do they want it?
everybody has ever said, we've had a couple town stores, but Mary Mamone over there, Pearlie's wife, John's sister had a store over there on New Durham Road on the right. It's just a house now. Yeah.
Small business retail in Trinity.
We just want to make it, well,
No, and I'm not saying, I don't think, I mean, I'm just saying that there's not going,
Everybody wants one.
I
They want to go
know.
get a loaf of bread without having to,
I just wouldn't-
although you guys just go over there and we go, on our side, we go down there.
You. Me, just me.
Wakefield's a long ways away from us.
I just go down over the hill and go to
Oh,
Irvine.
that's right, we got another one there.
I said,
all
I'm
of
up
us.
4-1 here.
If you want to add that, it's fine.
4-1. Ben will be on my side.
No.
I can.
He was saying on the way, to the election, we gotta vote for Roxanne.
I find
Dad.
most candy in my pocket, really got my
They-
So I guess what is the intent of looking at this? And I don't have any problems with it, I just don't know what this means, small retail business
What
opportunities.
was Lenny's point that he got about not having the land, I think?
I don't
Yeah.
think he has the land
No,
for
it
like
doesn't.
the parking
Right,
and,
you have to have so many, it says in there like 2
That's what I'm
acres.
saying, so I'm just saying we should look at it, to make it more small store friendly. What's the negative?
Well, if there's a lot of demand, we should at least have answers.
Or don't you think there's a
but the
lot of
other thing
demand?
is, I mean.
I hear a lot of talk.
There's so much demand.
I don't see a lot of action.
There's a lot of demand from the community that wants the store, but I don't see a lot of demand from people saying, hey, I have this plan and I want to open up a store on this piece of property.
I don't think we're against it, Kate,
No.
I think we'd be open to the idea or whatever. It's
But
just-
you also have to like,
you have to have somebody
you
who
get to
wants
get,
to do it.
yeah, if you have somebody who wants to actually like build the structure and have the.
He already
business.
has the building.
And then deal
Yeah,
with the
there's
people.
been a couple people that have asked about it, but for one reason or another, they couldn't do it.
Well, like, okay, so for example, like Lenny, he, you know, I mean, there are guidelines, you have to have, I think it's somewhere maybe 2 acres, he's like on a half an acre.
Right.
Well, part of that is because of the parking, you know, the
Yeah.
parking requirements.
Yeah.
And I guess we could go back and look and see, but,
Just a
You know,
thought.
I mean, I don't think-
Just a
I
thought.
mean, yeah.
I agree.
we can cer-
Let's look at it.
Yeah, we
by all
can look
means.
at it.
Is
Who
it
was the
our
guy that wanted to have a truck? Remember somebody wanted to have a
Food
truck?
Food truck, but
Because that was
down.
down, he was just gonna put it on his property down here on 153.
Yeah.
But that's
Why?
health, that's state health regulations. That's where you run up there.
Well, I mean, you could approve the land to be used as that, but I think it was also like where the, like,
Well, the idea is,
the car is gonna go in and out.
well, and the idea is it's not going to be left there permanently, because, you know,
Right.
a food truck, well, but I understand
Mm.
that it kind of sounded like it was gonna be there permanently, so it's not really gonna move the truck.
Well, there are some food trucks that people they'll buy because it's, for whatever reason, like financially better for them than a structure.
But you should be able to move it. I
Yeah,
understand.
but most people, like, some people will just like keep it there, but, I mean, they'll have to go through the state licensing and regulations for that.
Is that-
Which
And
is.
then
on
the
them.
third thing that I often hear is childcare. Do we have adequate protections or
Well,
opportunities for childcare in the town?
so, and that's a state
Say
regulated
that
thing.
again. I don't know what you mean by that.
So.
Well, we do have like, you know,
We have one license taken. Why isn't that, I thought we had another one that's only some licensed.
We-
I saw one on the annual report.
There's like there's at least 2 or 3 people who are advertising home daycares. And to my knowledge, only one person, and they don't advertise as their phone, is licensed.
in other words, I guess my point is I don't want to be so restrictive
Well-
that what this town needs.
So for us,
You know, we've made impossible things for people to
for
go.
in-home
That's all.
daycares, that's all regulated through the state.
Yeah. I think
On a
that's-
state.
Well, we do have
No, but
guidelines.
I don't think I think our probably guidelines are less restrictive than the state. Which
Right.
then in that case, you're fine, right? Because the state, and I think the state does dictate that business.
And I think Carl or the code enforcement has to go in and they have to do like a check off of inspections too. But the person that's coming forward, like, would just be like, they want to do building permit, like, they would have to go and say like, hey, I'm gonna do an in-home daycare, I need you to sign off, and then they have to send it to the state, and then the state comes out, I think they do their
So
inspection.
I think the state requires the town to sign it off or whatever.
I'm not concerned about the state, I'm just saying, are our zoning regulations too restrictive? Are we saying no to too many things for people, opportunity, especially as this town is expanding?
Well,
That's all.
and I don't think we do, Kate, because I mean, pretty sure, I would even venture to say 90% of the businesses, home businesses here in town never came before the planning board.
Sure.
Probably 95%. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, but certainly under the small retail business.
95, I'd say 99.
So with
You're
that-
being
I
generous.
was thinking, we could look at the daycare as well and see, is there anything that we think we need to
So I guess what,
revise?
so with the
Yeah, okay.
businesses that we do have in town, is there a cleanup process that we can do to where we can go back and pull all of the businesses in town and then verify whether they were,
I don't know. I don't think, whether they came with, no.
I
And I
mean-
don't know, you could probably go out on the state of New Hampshire. I don't know that you can do a search by town.
I think we're thinking it too in the past, because if you're an Uber driver, that's your business. You have to register the town.
the thing is
I mean-
where your business is based, is like how you register.
There's people who do the side, they deliver, they pick up things. I mean, they live at home, they do their side job. That's their job.
No, I get it.
I mean, it's nice, it's nice to have a building like, okay, this is like the lumber yard in the hardware store. We all know that's business.
Right. But I mean, yeah, right, but if you list your home, right, if you have an in-home business, whatever that is, your home address is, you're gonna be listed as your business address.
Right, I mean.
Or if
yeah.
you're a construction guy and all of your stuff is at your house and you're listing your house address as,
If you would. I mean, I tell you that when Jim was in business, our home address was his home business.
which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you don't need to rent or buy a space, then like I get it, but it's like moving forward, making sure that if we're gonna hold people coming in, trying to do it to a standard, making sure we're approximately.
That's the hard, right, that's the hard part. It's like, okay, all this, because you're gonna get that much more business coming, small business doing it versus the existing small business. Now it's like, so punishing, I would say punishing, but now you're holding a different standard to the people who, and not to say we shouldn't, so I guess maybe it's just.
No, yeah, it's a
figuring out
conversation.
How you can meld the two together to be a
Yes, because I don't want to hear like somebody coming forward and you say like, no, because of blah, blah, blah. And then they say, really, because the guy 4 doors down from me. And we've heard this,
Okay.
so it's like, how do
I
you?
mean, we can certainly, as we're reviewing the.
Yeah, it's just
take
a
look and
thought.
See
Yeah.
where there might
So
be some
this-
opportunities.
Those are just a couple of things that I've heard throughout the years, store and daycare, but that changes, doesn't it?
Are you gonna look to have a store be?
Is that a daycare?
Even daycare? All right, well, that's good.
What would I have?
See?
What would I have?
No, I mean, I would love for like a little, general store down here with sandwiches and stuff like that, but I mean, you gotta want to find something that's gonna.
Beer and bread
Beer and bread.
and ice cream.
Yeah, beer, bread. Milk, you have to have milk.
Oh, God, yeah. See, now it's already expanding.
Wow. It's usually milk and bread, I didn't know it was beer and bread.
Oh, sorry.
But hey, half the town would probably be beer and bread, the other half would probably.
I want to make some money.
Well, that was, that's one thing we should be selling fireworks.
Oh, now, see, look at you. You are business-minded.
No, there's actually, we just got a thing from about the fireworks or whatever, I have to go read it.
I was going to suggest to Bonnie that she consider having fireworks at the 250th.
Oh, you
I mean, there are businesses out there will come to your town. And if she wanted to do that, I don't want to put it in her head, but
Top does it.
I've heard of Hilltop. She wants a big thing.
Well,
You can, don't,
we
just
have
let me finish one more thought, and I'll say, because you could put it on the warrant article and ask the town for money, you know, because it's like 3 years away. But go ahead, I'm sorry, John, I just wanted to finish that.
No,
thought
that's fine,
before I
I
lost you.
appreciate it. I didn't mean to cut you off. No, I think the town does not do an official fireworks show, but there's an amazing fireworks show every 4th of July because
Around the lake.
we're on the lake. I mean, there's safely fired fireworks.
That's right, you see Bonnie, but yeah, no, it's just before the 250th.
I understand, but
Because I think they're planning like a big hurrah, so.
Well, I mean,
No, that's a good idea, though, I think.
I don't know if she's thought of it. Yeah.
well, I'm just saying, we don't have to have one big show, but they can organize
Well,
small
she's
shows.
looking for ideas for a really big celebration for the 250th.
I get that.
What do you got? So what are we gonna do?
Well, instead of having one big show,
You in the reserves, what can you do for us? You got a cannon?
My son has one.
There you go.
Oh, good
that
lord.
would put on a show. No, I'm no longer have access to those.
Okay.
No, but like the 5 or 6 small shows, and they interact.
Oh, like simultaneously?
It's like,
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, so that's the same thing as having somebody there.
I'm just saying, it's a big show, but it's spread out, and then a little bit of friendly competition. It's done well, it's over the lake, it's safe.
Oh,
and then they-
okay, now you're making me go into the lake.
Hey, well, you know, you have that
You-
private parking
you-
lot you can use.
Why don't you go to Jones Beach? It's the public beach, you can sit there.
It's,
No, all right, so, good idea.
I'm just saying, we have a wonderful fireworks show.
Yeah, no,
It's
we do,
open to
but this
everybody.
will be in August when the
If you can see.
whole celebration happens.
And,
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
are we doing fireworks at your property?
No.
Okay.
Because, well,
You
and
get a lot of
then the
room.
other thing is, and I mean, and I get this and whatnot, is, you know, like now these people have animals, and, oh my gosh, you know, you can tell it's the summertime because people have fireworks every weekend and all.
please include in December.
I know, I understand it, but I'm just saying.
Then there's the insurance to consider.
Right, so, I'm just saying.
Wolfboro did a laser light show, which was nice.
Oh, laser light show. We'll tell Bonnie about that one. See, you did have a good idea. That would be good, yeah. Or they have the drone shows. Don't they have drone shows? Like they
Yeah, they
take,
do. Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of,
Just for her-
cost-
for her
you need a
thing.
cost benefit analysis, but
No,
yeah.
this is good, so TK's gonna walk away with some additional.
Well, and you know, what
Throwing
it is,
them right at
DES doesn't like fireworks around the lake, because it's an environmental thing.
yeah, because the perchlorates that go into the water, they actually do that.
Maybe you do, and you're right.
You want to, you can come complain, but you can bring your damn concerns to the meeting.
I have no damn concerns.
John does these damn jokes all the time at the village district, and he doesn't get the crowd that appreciates it. I do, though.
You know, I'll tell you, that's,
I
hey,
do like that you mentioned the googly goop. You brought, yeah, you brought in John Mullins saying.
Oh, yes,
so
yes. You better be enjoying that nice weather. That-
Maybe when he comes back to you and relax, we can.
Do you think he's having a cocktail on the shore right now?
Oh, yes. Or, well, he's having a cocktail, I think it's dark, so he's probably having a cocktail on the.
On the lanai or the veranda?
Yeah, the lanai.
Okay. Building permits, there is no building permits this month. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be, somebody should be building in February. Yeah, shouldn't be building in February.
Would be like the neighbor next door, the jackhammer out there the day after Christmas.
Well, maybe he got it for Christmas, and wanted to try it out.
Well, it broke after, an hour.
Oh, is that interesting, you could do something, no.
okay.
But that's what I woke up to. All right, and voting for officers. Well, so I guess I want to say this. Can we like vote Kaden as like a permanent member, not an alternate?
I move that we vote Kate as a full-time permanent member to make room for all the other alternates.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So now, my understanding was, because she's an alternate, does that need to go to the DOS?
Yeah.
Yes, she'll go.
She has to have a little piece of paper. Remember, we talked about this.
Oath of office.
Oath of office, she's gonna be sworn at, and then, but we mentioned this before, that she couldn't, huh? Well, they mentioned that you want to know if you can be a full member before the election, address your concerns as a full member, and it was put down because of all this administrative paperwork.
So,
So let's
so
take
I
care
will
of it.
try and remember to have it put on the US meeting, but, you have it in the minutes that Kate has been,
Remember, some,
Yeah.
some of us, sign in for some time.
right, so.
For what length of term? That's a good point. Full-time, and it's
I would
1, 2, and 3 years.
Right, so you have to see, what is your term of office? You just signed.
Is there a term of office?
I can't remember.
1, 2, 3 years, and then try and rotate it.
Okay.
Did we? John had a list.
Let's say,
I probably need to get a list of what
I
it
would,
is.
Well, you should have a list.
Yeah, I
Okay.
that's fine,
know.
so I would say tentatively right now, okay, I would say 3 years.
Well, that's fine. You don't, well, we can figure that out when we have the list,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just. we'll-
I'll have to know that
we'll
before I
appoint
get
her and then
sworn
we'll
in,
find out the
because it's on
details.
your thing. It's on the,
And because if I'm,
On the oath of
I've been here at
office.
least 2 years, so if I'm up now,
Does John have a list?
if he doesn't,
Because it
if,
really should
He
be,
just recently checked to make sure that we're all.
Yes, he
Legal,
did.
right.
I remember we had some emails going back and forth, and he was saying, so I would have to look and say, if case, you know, it should be like, say, 1, 2, and 3. You should not all be in the same year, although.
Right, you should not all be.
Really have to be the year of 4 or 5, right? You're supposed to be doing primary boards,
Five.
Right now, we're board of 1 and now 2.
No, are we not, no, Ward 5.
we're a board of 3 at least.
Board of 5.
Well, no, but I mean, we're a board of 3 right now. You would make a board of 4. They put you on as a full-time. So then you would be basically looking to fill another full-time, and then you'd be looking for alternates. And then what you'd want to do is look at and say, you'd want to have 2 3 years, 2 years, and 1 year, or 2 1 year.
Now, what happens if you, if your term expires, then what's the next step?
Expired. And you're expecting expired.
Yeah, it is.
It's for, so expired. It's the
Yeah, no, it's the
ants
answer, it's the
come
answer,
over.
yeah.
The ants come over. Expired. I'm sorry, it's got that sentence. So what was your question again? If your term's expired?
Yeah, who's expiring this year?
So I think what happens though is, as long as your term continues, it's kind of like indefinite, but you really should go through the process of redoing it.
What if you want to escape your servitude?
You can't.
You can't.
You're not allowed. We're not
It doesn't say in our procedures, it says like,
You're only on 2 boards.
3.
you're not supposed
But
to.
I believe, now you what you have to do, I think it's going to know you.
I'm on
Is
several,
that the same for
several
like every town?
functioning boards.
Oh, okay, the amount.
But I think my understanding is.
Village district, what's else?
Sunrise Lake Estates Association,
Oh, it's okay.
Is
New Hampshire Farm Museum Board.
Oh, nice.
Would you like to join? We're open.
I love it, I love the farm museum.
You're welcome anytime. Doesn't take much. And if they wanted me, so they can just go.
Ah,
I'm going to make a motion for Christine to be the chair. Really? You don't want to change?
no, I'm not doing it.
She's not on yet.
I'm not on it and I'm not doing it.
What do you mean she's not on it? Because we just made her a member.
I'm considering, I will second the motion with discussion.
Oh, yeah, it is open discussion.
You just gotta put it on the table.
I did, so I made the motion, you seconded it, so what's the discussion?
I'm putting for discussion.
I just don't want to screw up and fail. I'm feeling like huge feet.
Oh, I see. So one of us can screw up and fail?
No, I can't hold the position because I am.
A selectman, you can't do it, and I won't do it because I'm on the Conservation Commission.
You know,
And I'm on the Lake Commission, so you're the only one who.
What do you mean you're not, oh, you're our
Commissioner.
SLBP rep.
SLBP rep, yeah.
But why couldn't you do it?
she's
Because I'm on the
new.
Conservation Commission.
She's new, she's new to the board.
No, I couldn't do it because I'm on the Conservation Commission, that's like a full-time job. What? I'm new.
She's trying to have a
No, I'm not lying,
That's fine.
so.
No, we all have other things to
I
do.
tell, so we all, so.
And I wouldn't want to have to fill John Mullen's shoes, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I'm just like, I'm new and I don't know a whole lot, so
Well,
I'm
and
gonna
that's,
be,
and that's.
He'll
the
talk to
reason
you.
Why you need to get another member at large.
yes, we need more members.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, none of us know everything,
Right.
but someone needs to run the
John's just
meeting.
a phone call away. That's what the chair primarily does, is to run the meeting.
Get his sources, get who he talks to.
Yeah.
Talk to the women.
So we should go.
All right, let's go ahead and vote.
She already talks to Janet, so that's good, yeah.
Oh, well, wait a minute,
So we need a vice chair.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a
You
minute.
can vote for one at a time.
Yeah,
Maybe
so-
I'm not on the
so-
Conservation
so-
Commission.
Said all those in favor, aye.
I nominate Kate for vice chair.
No,
I
I
second
vote,
that.
I would think, why not just continue with you, John? You do a great job.
I don't have the experience.
John wasn't vice, he wasn't anything.
She was
I was
vice
vice chair.
I was nothing.
And I believe, because he's SLBD, I don't necessarily know that he can be vice chair, I don't know. But, so, I'll second that motion
For John
for
or
Kate to be,
I'm not going to nominate myself, although I might contest that, just keep the lake people in charge.
All those in favor?
The,
oh, wait a minute, wait, we're discussing.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't really, John, seriously, continue on.
She is not, he is not the chair, he's
No.
not the vice chair, she is the national.
Oh,
John was the chair.
and you, as a senior member, you should.
But he's the SLBD rep, and I don't know if as an SLBD rep, he can be.
Because, so I'm an SLBD rep for the budget committee, and I couldn't be chair or vice chair.
And I could be voted off the Lake District any time. I've been trying my hardest.
That's what we're going with, okay.
But,
But are you okay with being vice chair? Until we get a new member online, so we can kind of.
you know, it's okay. I mean, we've got a lot of people who are interested in these zoning articles and have a lot of questions. We welcome new perspectives.
No kidding.
You just gotta get him to show up and.
So we're gonna vote?
Okay, so all those in favor for Kate to
Wait a
be?
minute, so John,
Made the motion to vote Kate as vice
Vice chair.
chair. I seconded
you
it.
second.
Now we're voting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You can vote against yourself.
I can't vote. No, because the chair didn't put me, I'm not, according to John's rules, I'm not, sitting in for anybody. I'm gonna check into that one day and find out I could have voted on her toe.
Yeah, so that's right, she could vote because she's not here as a voting member.
But you don't
I'm
have,
a hostage.
aren't we all?
No, but next meeting, you are gonna, it's not gonna say alternate member, it's gonna say, it's gonna say vice chair.
Everyone will have a title now.
So does the BOS need to approve that? They don't, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
No, not the officers. No.
We just vote,
No.
for any
They need to
appointments.
approve
Yep.
appoint.
Yes, we actually do the appointment
Yep.
based off of.
Yeah, and they could say, no, we don't want her on the board. We don't
Well, I
know.
would stab
No, they-
somebody with a pen if they do that. That's
They'll
what
stab them.
Anyone who says no, we welcome them.
No, but I mean, no, that is a potential and that is their right.
It is, no, it's true. but
And
I'm
the
like,
selectmen should be aware of that if they don't like particular person's policies or how they handle themselves in board meetings. Maybe I'm not professional
They
enough.
will-
They
they
could say
need a
no.
recommendation who will fill your fine.
Right, that's what I would say.
I'm giving them an out. They don't have to approve me.
If I've made it on, Kate, surely.
Oh, it's Christine made it on.
I made it on.
I mean, John escaped. All you gotta do is serve at least 20 years of hard time. You
Yeah,
can
hard
go
time,
to.
20 years, a hard time.
All right, anybody have any comments, questions, concerns?
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you,
Thank
Christine.
you, Kate. Thanks, Christine. for stepping
Pretty
up
sad.
and filling the shoes of Lori Mullen and-
Just one more thing I can sit up at night worrying about.
You needed it.
It's why worry. This is, don't worry. You're not alone.
Right.
Yep.
Right, I mean, and the worst thing, the biggest thing is if something comes before the board, we can just say, and if you're not comfortable, just say, that table until the next meeting.
Right.
No research.
And there's something that bothers me in this calling, these people want a lot of answers before they come before the board.
Yeah.
I don't know, we've got to figure out how to handle that. You know what I'm talking about. You're very nice and you're very helpful and there's a point, but there's a point to where it gets into a legal,
Yeah.
Well, again, if Robin finds an answer she doesn't know, she can say, I'll get back to you. She can.
Or I would say.
or have them come to a meeting.
Yes.
Not to
Yes.
expect, yeah.
So I guess,
No, that's what I do.
Okay,
I tell
then
them
we're-
what
then
I
we're-
can tell them what I know, and then if you want to go further, then you need.
Yeah.
so I think there was a couple of people, there was like one or two people that emailed you and said like, oh, I have questions about stuff. I would just say like,
Come to the next planning board.
I would just say moving forward, I did.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I've never heard back from them again, so.
well, and then maybe if they could,
But I would like to know their questions.
yeah, so I would say email me all of your questions, so the board can have them to review.
Yeah.
And then you need to come to the next meeting, you need to let us know if you're gonna be at the next meeting, we'll put you on the agenda and we'll discuss it again.
Or a future meeting,
No.
Yeah,
yeah.
but then I would like.
So
to
that
know-
we can review what
Yeah.
they're, yeah.
But if they say like, oh, I can't be at the March 13th meeting, but I
Well,
can be
they
at the April whatever,
Well, they can
say,
submit this stuff in writing.
yeah.
Just a lot of people just disappear, you know,
Yeah.
they
Well, maybe,
look at
maybe,
the zoning ordinances and they change their mind.
well, I mean, that's okay. If you answer their questions and they say, no, I'm not going to be
But I mean, as
pursuing.
long as you're comfortable answering the
I
questions.
won't answer anything I'm not fine.
Okay.
And I don't know if this would help too, but maybe if like under planning board, zoning, like any of those things, any questions that you have, please refer to, our ordinances. And then if you have further questions, please put yourself on the agenda or submit your questions and you need to be at the next meeting.
We have a planning board email, right?
Yes, I have to call tomorrow. I have the phone number at home, I think somewhere, because you gave it to me.
So I mean, I think, so anything like that, definitely CC the planning board email?
Yeah, I've been looking at the planning board email, and Christine's trying to get access to it.
Right, no, but I'm just saying, that way, there's a record of it,
Yeah.
and not just say, well,
Yeah.
And because Robin doesn't have enough to do, I'd like a copy of the deeds of any properties I would like a copy of the deeds of any property we're looking at.
Any property.
Like if somebody comes in, I would like a copy of the deed that you should have on file. You don't have to make up 5, but I just like one.
like if Glenn Lance is coming in, so she wants a copy on it, whatever, what man and what he's doing, because true, that could be,
But I think to streamline and save time for Robin, and then also to prevent any miscommunication or misunderstanding, if someone emails or calls and says I have questions, say, you need to email this email, all of your questions, and put yourself on the agenda.
right, so then we have.
Or they can submit it in writing.
No, they need to,
Yeah.
they should submit.
Submit their questions in writing.
Yeah, because
Interpretation, things is,
Yeah,
so.
it's also freedom from
Because you
information.
say, well, Robin told me that I could do this, and
Yeah.
you say I didn't, and be like, if we had anything in writing, then we can just say,
So, and maybe we should make that the policy, just like for 91A, you can have a policy for 91A of
Should be rules of procedures,
yeah,
which we have. I think John wanted to update them.
I think we did.
You did update them?
But now that it seems like we're getting more of an influx of questions, and I don't know if it's because.
Just like maybe in the documents, planning board documents, we put a form there.
Yeah. Some of the questions might be when's the next meeting. Okay, that's fine. But
Well, yeah, and even still, if you go to Kingswood or Governor Wentworth School District, if you have any kind of you want to they have a specific policy how you submit your questions and everything else, and I think that would be just so much better for everybody to know.
I mean,
Just makes it easier when it's clear.
that protects the town and the residents.
Well, and then I don't want to burn out our staff with a lot of back and forth, and I mean she's got a lot to do.
She does, and we appreciate that, but yeah, it's a lot of work. So anything we can make it easier, say, here's the form, I don't have a computer, come to the office, we'll give you the form, write legibly, please.
Or it should be on the website. You
See on
should,
the website, I mean, again, if some people prefer the writing, that's fine, but, give them the format and, make it easy to say yes, we can give you that.
Yeah, I'm going to draft something.
And I'm ready for the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Thank you for drafting that affidavit. I really.
That's good.
like I said, that type of stuff is, I think we just need to be much more on top of things like that, and that's great, because.
That just makes it easy, spells it out, keeps everything legal.
Wild West here, Kate.
Well, and it keeps everything the same for.
it always makes me nervous. I just like to have it takes a lot, especially this guy that's on the Milton line.
Yeah, hey, Kate, I want to ask you, are they logging down there?
Probably, that's what they do. I don't know.
So when I was here Tuesday, all right, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. At 7:24?
Yeah.
So moved.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
7:24,